Hello, my name is Dade the Blade, and today we are going over my Shrines deck list. Shrines is a deck list that is very near and dear to my heart because it's very difficult to pilot. All of your shrines activate at different points during the game, and it makes it incredibly important that you watch how you're playing. Inside of this deck list, I've included sweepers like Sunfall and Shatter the Sky. Shatter the Sky draws us cards whenever Yorion Sky Nomad is on the field. If we're ever in a situation where we're shattering because we simply don't have the color types that we need in order to cast our shrines, then we want to at the very least be drawing a card. With Sunfall, we go ahead and exile all the creatures on the field, and then we incubate X. This incubate token may not seem like very much, but this can sometimes get so big that it ends the game outright on its own. For 2 mana, we have a lot of cards that are competing for this slot. Chronicler of Worship fetches a shrine inside of our deck, making it perpetually cost 1 less to cast, and then shuffling our deck. After that, it then adds a mana of any color and is a body on the field. We can either throw Chronicler of Worship under the bus, or we can use it to fix our mana. Very good card. The Jukai Naturalist, this is a 2-2 with lifelink, so we can gain life to get out of death range of those burn decks, or we can go ahead and gain just enough life to keep us in the game against aggro decks. This also speeds us up by making all of our enchantment spells cost 1 less to cast, which is very important for things like Honden of Seeing Winds, which costs 5 to cast, as they can very oftentimes be too slow and will get us killed. Jukai Naturalist makes them cost 1 less, therefore faster, therefore killing us less. With Sithis Harvest's Hand, we gain 1 life and draw a card whenever we cast an enchantment. Gaining his life puts us out of range of aggro and burn decks, and then drawing us a card gets us through our deck, which can get us stuff like Sunfall if we're in a particular dire situation, or it can end up drawing us into something like Sanctum of All and ending the game on the spot. This is also true with Satyr Enchanter, but Satyr Enchanter is a little bit weaker in that it only draws us a card. It doesn't also gain us the life. We protect all of our shrines by using Sterling Grove. Sterling Grove gives all of our other enchantments Shroud. In effect, this is hexproof. Then, if we are in a super good spot after giving all of our shrines hexproof, we can then sacrifice Sterling Grove after paying 1 and then search for whichever enchantment card we need. This is very often Sanctum of All, but sometimes it's going to be Honden of Cleansing Fire, sometimes it's going to be Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest to fix our mana, sometimes it's going to be Sanctum of Stone Fangs to just end the game. When it comes to our shrines, we landed on Sanctum of Stone Fangs, Honden of Infinite Rage, Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest, Goshentai of Shared Purpose, Honden of Cleansing Fire, Sanctum of Calm Waters, Goshentai of Hidden Cruelty, Honden of Night's Reach, Goshentai of Life's Origin, Honden of Seeing Winds, Honden of Life's Web, and Sanctum of All. For some of these shrines, you may have noticed that I am using 3 of them. And for others, you may have noticed that I am using 4, but primarily I am using 2. Why is that? With a lot of these shrines, you don't want to see them in every single situation. For example, Sanctum of Stone Fangs is awesome whenever you're playing into a control deck or whenever you're playing against an aggro goblin deck. However, sometimes it's just not big enough. Whenever it comes to something like Honden of Infinite Rage, Fruitful Harvest, or Hidden Cruelty, however, all 3 of these cards are borderline must-draws for us. Honden of Infinite Rage can go ahead and clear some small minions for us, or even some bigger minions, and genuinely save our health bar. When it comes to Fruitful Harvest, this can correct our mana on the spot or make it to where we can just cast things. It may not seem like a lot in the moment, but I promise you that mana is worth it. When it comes to Goshentai of Hidden Cruelty, this is a Death Touch shrine, so we're at least getting rid of 1 creature or 1 card in way of removal. or we're getting rid of multiple. The reason for this is at the beginning of my end step, I may pay 1 and destroy target creature with toughness X or less, where X is the number of shrines I control. If I control even 3 shrines, this can hit huge targets. However, in most situations, this is just going to be getting rid of 1/1 tokens, or this is going to be getting rid of things like all side of Life's Bounty. When it comes to these 2 ofs, Goshentai of Shared Purpose, Sanctum of Calm Waters, Honden of Night's Reach, Honden of Seeing Winds, and Honden of Life's Web. These are 2 ofs because these can save us the game. However, these can kill us at the same time. All of these shrines activate at a particular point during the game's upkeep or during your turn. For example, Hondens activate during your upkeep. Goshentais activate during your end step. Sanctums activate during your pre-combat main phase. This is very, very, very important, especially when taking into consideration triggers like Shieldred, which whenever an opponent draws a card, it does 2 damage. If you're the opponent, it becomes critically important to gain life before then. If we're on 2 life, Sanctum of Stone Fangs, for example, can end up saving our life. When it comes to Sanctum of All is awesome. The reason for this is Sanctum of All fetches a shrine from our library or from our graveyard. This is absolutely huge. This can pull Sanctum of Stone Fangs out of our deck. This can go ahead and pick out stuff like Honden of Night's Reach, making our opponent's game just impossible. This can pull stuff like Goshentai of Life's Origin and enable us to combo out. This is just huge. And after we gain 6 shrines on the battlefield, this then doubles their effectiveness. At the very least, having 6 shrines out, you can deal 12 damage with Stone Fangs, 12 damage with Infinite Rage, gain 24 life with Honden of Cleansing Fire. It really is a huge effect. The reason we only have 2 of these is because it's not very often that we have all 5 different colors of mana in our mana base at turn 5. Very often we'll have 4, we'll have 3, or we can even have as little as 2. We're just trying to increase the likelihood that we can win in any particular spot. That being said, our mana base is going to be green mana heavy. The reason for this is you may have noticed most of our 2-drops, if not all of them, contain green mana. The only one that doesn't is Sanctum of Stone Fangs. When it comes to the green cards that just help us win the game, we have Goshentai of Life's Origin, which can help us combo out. We have Fruitful Harvest, which can fix our mana. We have Life's Web, which creates dorks for us to block with. And then we have Sanctum of All. That's most of our deck. We really need green mana. When it comes to white mana, the reason that we're including extra of this is because we never want to not have white mana whenever we have Sunfall, Shatter, or something like Honden of Cleansing Fire or Goshentai of Shared Purpose in our hand. We don't want to be in a spot where we can't cast it. When it comes to the rest of our mana base, we have Pathways, Shocklands, and Checklands. Any way that we can have it to where these lands come in untapped, we want to take full advantage of it. It may deal us 2 damage, however, that 2 damage can be minuscule in the prospect of taking 500 from something like an elf deck. But now, let's get jumped into the games. So this hand is already goated. The reason for that is we have green mana and Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest. It might not seem like a lot, but being able to fix our mana immediately is huge. And we already have 3 different mana colors here with the ability to set up our Shatter the Sky instantaneously. So we're keeping this. Taking a look at our opponent's card sleeves, I'm guessing we're facing a white deck. Fingers crossed. We're going to first cast Copperline Gorge. All right. Turn the game down a little bit for myself. Having 2 different mana colors already on turn 2 means that we are doing excellent. Having your variety pack of mana just makes it so much easier to win the game, and I cannot understate the power that this deck has when it has all 5 mana colors online. We have 2 Ghost Shintais of Hidden Cruelty. That means we can use one as a chump blocker, but the second one we gotta really hold on to. You can see this guy just had a tap land enter the battlefield. That's horrible. You saw that his turn was spent casting a 2-mana creature on turn 3. And we casted Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest. I think we're winning on this deal. We're going to greed out something. We're going to greed out our Satyr Enchanter. You might be asking, well, why are you doing that? The reason for that is that going ahead and getting Satyr Enchanter on the battlefield now allows us to draw cards whenever we cast our Ghost Shintai of Hidden Cruelty or Sanctum of Calm Waters. This can dig into our deck and pull out a Sunfall right when we need it. We know that this is a Cleric class deck, so this is going to be a deck that really wants to gain life and get big quick. So if he has something like a Johnny's Pridemate in his hand, then we are in trouble. He just had a fight spell. Unfortunately, the greed didn't work, but it's no big deal, as the only thing that we had to play on turn 3 was going to be that Satyr. Or rather, turn 4. We could have gotten Sanctum of Calm Waters down, but in the grand scheme of things, those 2 cards versus getting that removal out of his hand, I'd rather get that removal, because if he used that on something like Ghost Shintai of Life's Bounty, the one that creates the 1/1 shrine creatures, then we'd be in a significantly worse spot. We're going to try and drain even more removal here by casting Ghost Shintai of Hidden Cruelty. Hopefully we get something like Destroy Target Enchantment, or we get a fight spell, but we'll see. So he's thinking very hard. Because the game has frozen on this particular step, I'm led to believe that he casts a removal spell. Yeah. Or we end up getting a fight spell. This also acts as a fight spell. I'm not too sure why I didn't choose that, because that would get rid of my Ghost Shintai of Hidden Cruelty. I suppose he would also lose his Story Seeker at the same time, but it's not that big a deal. He's going to lose that creature anyway. We're just chump blocking, because why bother holding on to Ghost Shintai of Hidden Cruelty for much longer? At really any point. We could have dragged Yorion Sky Nomad to our hand right there, and that would have saved us 3 mana, but in my opinion, we aren't really in too tough a spot, so why sweat it? You can see here he casted the Frost Titan. This can be hard for us, but we have Yorion. That's a 4/5. I'm regretting not casting it to my hand, but can't be too mad. I'm going to add black mana here to enable me to cast Honden of Night's Reach. And then I'm going to cast Sanctum of Calm Waters. We're still not prioritizing this Yorin just because in the grand scheme of things, we only want Yorin after we have important stuff on the field, after we have our combo officially set up. You saw right there, because I increased my shrine count, I was able to get rid of that dragon using Goshintai of Hidden Cruelty. That spot removal is proving to be very, very useful. That 1/1 counter is going to put Core's Celebrant outside of death range from my Goshintai of Hidden Cruelty, but we're about to draw 4 cards off of our Sanctum of Calming Waters, so why not? He is going to discard everything, because Honden of Night's Reach is a very cool card. You saw that he still had the fight spell, and he had You Meet in a Tavern, so that's pretty good. And he F6'd. Victory! We're going up the ranks. We're now officially silver. Go us. Let's get in another game. Hopefully we don't get mono red aggro, but we'll see. This is looking like mono white, but we could be getting baited. We don't have black mana, but we have Sithis, so I'm thinking about keeping this. We have 3 colors, so we're statistically likely to pull into something that can help us. This is going to be in a Johnny's Pridemate deck, so we really need to keep up with him. Sithis will help us out with that, because they have very big creatures, but those creatures typically don't have trample. So, should be a victory. It's taking quite a while to make this decision. It could be because he has a shock land in hand and he's wondering if the life is important. Alright, we see that this is definitely a white heavy deck. We have 2 Healer's Hawk and a Leonin Vanguard. This may be a go wide strategy. I'm going to play Sithis. If possible, we want to be gaining life. With Leonin Vanguard, I expect that there's going to be an Ajani's Pridemate or another Healer Hawk. Yeah. So you have Ajani's Pridemate, life gain. 1/1 counter is acquired. This is a situation where we have to be fast. We have to make the correct decision at the correct time. So we're going to lose our Sithis Harvest Sand right now. So we need to get value out of it right now, even if that means costing ourselves a little bit of life. We're going to cast Honden of Infinite Rage because this draws us a card, draws us into our extra land, and we're not going to attack because we'd just be throwing away our bot blocker. The second Ajani's Pridemate is huge for him, but it's not going to kill our game plan. He's going to be attacking with everything, and that's perfectly fine because we fully anticipate him to play the game. Going to attack into our Sithis, we're then going to blow up a Healer's Hawk, which lowers the amount of counters that he gets. We're going to then play this untapped land because this untapped land makes us happy. We're then going to play Chronicler of Worship. This will pull for us a shrine out of the top 7. We can see something called Goshintai of Shared Purpose. This is a huge card to get right now, particularly in this circumstance, because you can see that he's attacking us with everything. We're going to be losing tons of life, 6, 7, 8, 9 right here, but we're going to be getting rid of another guy. We're going to be dropping down that life total, and he won't be able to increase the 1/1 counters he's putting on those Pride Mates. So goodbye. We're going to then shock in a land. We're playing that. We got 2 bot blockers, and he can't do anything about it anymore. So far as I am concerned, he is currently locked out of the game. Does it suck? Absolutely. But he can't really do anything about it. The only thing that he can do is do something like Swift Response, which could get rid of our Goshintai of Shared Purpose, but I'm not attacking his Ajani's Pride Mate with my Goshintai because I like my shrines. We saw that it didn't stall. We know he doesn't have any instantaneous reaction inside of his hand. We're going to destroy the thing that's giving him 1/1s because we don't like that anymore. We're then going to cast Honden of Cleansing Fire because that costs 4 mana, leaving us with 1, which allows us to then create more 1/1 spirits. He can't attack through them because he doesn't have Trample. If you want a pro tip on how you can avoid this with any of your Ajani's Pride Mates decks, just go ahead and make the sacrifice. Slot in a Shadow Spear. It's worth it. It may not seem worth it, but it is. You gain the Trample, you gain Lifelink. It makes your life just 50,000 times easier. You might as well take full advantage of it. See, boom, health gain. We're going to cast Sanctum of Stone Fangs. We're going to play this as slow as possible. The reason for that is we don't really want to tip our hand too much. Because he's mono white, he has some form of enchantment removal in his deck more than likely, and we don't want to deal with it. He played Anointed Procession. This is a strategy where you create a ton of tokens all at once, and if you have stuff like Core Celebrant, Impassioned Orator, or Daxos on your field, you can gain a ton of life all at once. It's a perfectly sound strategy, but unfortunately for him, he didn't include any Trample, so that's that. And we're going to lock out this game by just casting Sunfall. He can no longer win the game. The only way that he can win this game is if a miracle happens. And miracles don't happen in Magic the Gathering. As you can see, we have a 6/6 on the field. He has absolutely nothing. He's going to, more often than not, in most cases, be drawing a land. That's not going to help him in any circumstance. And most of his cards are going to be under 4 health. So, what can he do? He's going to destroy that, but he's going to immediately lose his Wandering Emperor. That's because he didn't read Honden of Infinite Rage. We're going to gather blue. We just want to search our deck. Searching our deck for the important cards allows us to find our Sanctum of All, which just ends the game on the spot. We don't want to make this guy feel like shit by forcing him to play. Bang. Life. Searching. No Sanctum of All. Bang. We'll search again. Nothing. That's unfortunate. All right. So we're going to get black. We're going to play Honden of Night's Reach. Then we're going to play Goshintai of Cruelty. And then we're going to play this guy. If he lets us, we'll combo off. But he's dead next turn regardless. So. All right. Progress. And we will then queue up another one. Feeling good, feeling great. Ooh, pack. Let's open this up. What's in the box? That's a neat card. I've never seen this guy before. Interesting. Interesting. Going to continue from here. Hoping we get the same level of draws we've been getting. Haven't really been in a circumstance where we can lose. Okay, so we have green mana, we have white mana, and then we have the ability to get all of our stuff onto the field. We're going to keep. He's mulliganing. That's good for us. Hopefully, mulligans into absolute doo-doo. He liked it. Going to play that white mana. Play Jukai Naturalist. We're hoping to just spiral out of control here. When we have Fruitful Harvest and Jukai Naturalist onto the field, it just gets crazy very quickly. He's playing Azorius, so I'm assuming he's playing Azorius Snow Control, but who knows? The reason we played Sanctum of Fruitful Harvest first is we want to correct our mana as soon as possible. Worst comes to worst, we're still going to be able to play Honden of Seeing Winds. As you can see here, he did remove it. But we don't care because we drew Cleansing Fire. We always want to play Cleansing Fire the second we get it. The reason for that is gaining the life now is going to be huge. He can do a total of 4 damage to us. But we're going to be healing a total of 4 damage. We're at a net even. So unless he gets bigger, we are in the driver's seat. We're going to add black here. The reason for that is we want this Ghost Shentai of Hidden Cruelty. Why, you may ask? Oh, well, the reason for that is I can pay 1 and get my Jukai Naturalist back. So he's doing this just to try and control the board state, get bigger, and maybe swing out and win the game. I can't blame him for it, but it's unlikely to help. Even if he puts stun counters onto our shrines and our Jukai Naturalist, we're still going to be gaining 6 life on our upkeep. So we're fixing all of the damage that he's doing to us. And we're going to do white. He's tapping our creatures, so he's clearly stun control, and I don't want to deal with it. So we're just going to play Ghost Shentai of Shared Purpose. We're going to... We have 5 shrines on the board. We're just going to kill that guy. He's looking at our Ghost Shentai of Hidden Cruelty because he wants to get rid of it. But he's trying to risk analyze everything. Yeah, he's trying to decide if the best thing he can do with that particular card is destroy our Ghost Shentai. It's not. The best thing that he could do would be to get rid of Ghost Shentai of Shared Purpose. Because it's more mana dorks for us. Honden of Infinite Rage. Sanctum of Calm Waters. And then we're going to play our Chronicler of Worship. Hopefully this digs out a Sanctum of All. No attacks. Auto pay. Bang. Our opponent's on a timer. We have Sanctum of Calm Waters here. I'm going to be looking for that Sanctum of All. Let's just get rid of this guy. And then we'll just play green. So I'm doing this because I really want to draw into my handy dandy Sanctum of All. I don't care if I get rid of half of my hand because I can just put him out of his misery faster. We're going to pay it because why not? Not going to attack. We'll make our dudes. Kill this guy. And then we're going to get rid of cards at random. And he's lost. We win. All right, there's our Sanctum of All. We have our Sanctum of Calm Waters. We're going to deny that. We're going to take the free win. We're going to then play Ghost Shintai of Life's Origin. Draw. Play. Going to play our Sanctum of Stone Fangs. He's for sure dead this turn. I hope he realizes it after that. Going to play our Yori in there. Boom, boom. Going to be playing this Hengate pathway. And that's our turn. We're just going to get rid of D7. Pew. Right. And that is Shrines. When it comes to Shrines, your margin for error is very little. While during my games I was tossing random cards, those games were generally decided by that point. In closer games where you're facing off against Azoria soldiers, mono red goblins, or even going up against something like Rakdos midrange, you're going to want to play things out a lot slower. You saw there that also I got the right shrine exactly when I needed it. That's what I tried to curate this deck around. I didn't want to draw shrines when I didn't need them. I wanted to draw them when I did need them. Drawing doubles can be something that genuinely does kill your game in some circumstances. However, drawing doubles of something like Ghost Shintai of Hidden Cruelty is never going to kill your game. It's only going to benefit you. But with that, Dade the Blade out.